In this video, we're going to go through a couple of more challenging examples of coding questions. Let's take a look at these. So here's our coding formula. So A equals 3 plus 1.2b. So that's the relationship between A and B. Now we've got some summary statistics for A. So the sum of the squares of A is 320.6 and the sum of the A's is 47.8. and n equals 20. So we need to calculate the standard deviation of B and the standard deviation of B and the mean of B. So to do this, we're first going to calculate the mean and standard deviation of A, and then we're going to use what we know about coding to find the mean and standard deviation of B. So the mean of A, well, we can calculate that by just using the formula, which is add them all up and divide by n. Now, they've already been added up for us, so if that's 47.8, dividing by n is dividing by 20, so 47.8 divided by 20 is our mean, and that's 2.39. Our standard deviation is equally straightforward. We're just going to use the summary statistics given, so that's going to be the square root of the sum of the squares, which is 320.6, divided by n, which is 20, minus the mean squared. Now 2.39 was actually exact, so there's no rounding issues here. Key that all in, so 320.6 divided by 20, and I'm going to subtract 2.39 squared. So that's 10.31, so we've got the square root of 10.3179. So square rooting my answer, and I get 3.212. All right, so now I've got the mean of A and the standard deviation of A. I'm in a position to find the mean and standard deviation of B. Remember, our relationships are as follows. The mean of A is going to be related to the mean of B in exactly the same way as the data points are related. So that's 3 plus 1.2 mean of B. So I can just sub that in, so 3.212. Oh no, that was the standard deviation. For the mean, it's 2.39 equals 3 plus 1.2b. So subtracting 3 from both sides, I get 1.2b, b bar, mean of B, is negative 0.61, and that means that the mean of B is my answer divided by 1.2, which is 0.50, negative 0.508. So that's fine. The mean of B can be negative. There's no reason why we can't have negatives as our mean. And for the standard deviation, we use the fact that they are related by sigma A is, and we just ignore the 3. Okay, adding 3 on doesn't affect the spread of data at all. Is sigma B, nope, is 1.2 times sigma B. Okay, so we just ignore that 3, and sigma A is just 1.2 sigma B. We already know what sigma A is because we worked it out on the left-hand side. It's 3.212, so that equals 1.2 times sigma B. Dividing both sides by 1.2, so 3.212 divided by 1.2, and I get 2.68. So there we go. There's a slightly more challenging example where we use summary statistics to work out the mean standard deviation of B, which was the data that was coded to form A before. Okay, one more example now. And I encourage you to pause the video and see if you can figure this one out for yourself. So data relating to the lifetime to the nearest hours of a random sample of 200 light bulbs from the production line of a manufacturer were summarized in a group frequency table. The midpoint of each group in the table was represented by X and the corresponding frequency of that group by F. The data were then coded using Y equals this coding formula and summarized as follows. Calculate estimates of the mean and standard deviation of the lifetimes of this sample of bulbs. All right, so we can use this summary data to work out the mean and standard deviation of Y. Once we've got that, we'll be able to uncode it using this formula. So how can we work out the mean of Y? Well, the mean of Y is going to be the sum of all of the y's divided by n. But we've just been given the data in frequency form, so that's no stress. I mean, they've just given it as sum of the frequencies times the y, and we divide that either by the sum of frequencies or just the number of bulbs. So we know what the sum of the frequency times y's is. It's minus 467, and we're dividing that by 200. Now y is negative here, but remember y isn't the lifetime of the bulb, it's some abstract coded quantity, so it doesn't matter if it's negative. So that's minus 2.335 is the mean of y. Now what about the standard deviation of y? Well, the standard deviation of y is the square root of the sum of the squared y's, or the sum of the frequency times y's if it's come from a frequency table, divided by n, minus the mean of y squared. So that's going to be this value given in the question, 9,179, divided by 200, because there are 200 of them, minus our answer for the mean squared. So it's a negative number squared, so it's going to go positive. So make sure you don't, by accident, add it here. All right, so 9,179 divided by 200 minus the mean, so negative 2.335 squared, and that's 40.44. So we've got the square root of 40.44, and I'll take the square root of the answer on my screen, and it's 6.36. Okay, I now have the mean of y and the standard deviation of y. I'm now in a position to find the mean and standard deviation of x, which is the lifetime of the bulbs. Okay, so the relationship between those is that the mean of y is related to the mean of x in exactly the same way as the data was coded. So x minus 755, I'm going to leave off the 0.0, divided by 2.5. We know the mean of y, it's negative 2.335, so I just sub that into this equation and then rearrange to find the mean of x. So if I multiply both sides by 2.5, I have minus 2.335 times 2.5 is negative 5.8375, and that's equal to x bar minus 755. Adding 755 to both sides, I get a mean lifetime for the bulbs of 749.1625. So there we go. There's an estimate of the mean lifetime of the bulbs. And the standard deviation, well, the standard deviation of y is related to the standard deviation of x, but ignoring any adding or subtracting. So it's just the standard deviation of x over 2.5. Okay, so I'm going to continue this work up here, so there's a little bit of space. So subbing in the mean of the standard deviation of y, which I know, that's going to be equal to the standard deviation of x divided by 2.5. Multiplying both sides by 2.5, I get 6.36 times 2.5, and now I have the standard deviation of x, which is 15.9. So there we have it. We've now got the mean, the standard deviation of the lifetime of bulbs. And again, we use the summary statistics to work out the mean standard deviation of y. And then we use the coding formula to undo that coding and figure out what the mean standard deviation was of our original data.